What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some more NBA news to talk about with you guys. This time it is currently being reported that the Golden State Warriors could be interested in potentially trading for LaMarcus Aldridge. This is all being reported by Fadeaway World. Now, again, there's a couple of things that could go into it. It is rumored that they could acquire him by trading away Kelly Oubre, Kevon Looney, and maybe another player here and there that's slightly just over the minimum. But again, when I look at this, I really do not like this trade by the Golden State Warriors at all. I don't think LaMarcus Aldridge makes any sense for the Warriors. I mean, if you guys haven't seen this, pretty much LaMarcus Aldridge has actually got a worse plus minus, I believe, than certain other players on the Spurs. Right now, and considering they're paying him about $28 million, you would think that he'd have a pretty decent, plus minus here and there, but I believe he's actually got a worse plus minus than Jakob Poeltl rather. Jakob Poeltl's actually been he's actually been pretty good defensively this year, which is pretty surprising. Again, I don't know, I've never really thought of him too much as being a very good defender, but again, he's been a lot better of a defender this year than what LaMarcus Aldridge has been. Aldridge is putting up about 14 points per game, which is about 4 to 5 less than what he was in his previous season. He's averaging only 4.3 rebounds as their starting center, so again, a lot of concern when it does come to the rebounding for them. I mean, 4.3 is just not good enough. He's only playing about 27 minutes per game right now. He just doesn't seem to be a player that really too many teams would be wanting, because look, he's very decent offensively, but his defense has definitely been pretty bad throughout this season. His rebounding has not been good. He's still putting up decent point production, but again, just overall hasn't really been that good of a player so far this season. But again, there has been a lot of bright spots for the Spurs. I mean, if I was the Spurs, I would definitely actually reconsider signing DeMar DeRozan, because I was kind of on the way where they should probably just, trade him or let him walk in free agency. But again, he's putting a decent 20 points per game up this season, 7 assists, which is really surprising, and is shooting a lot more threes, which I think has surprised a lot of people, on about 33% from 3 so far this season. And he's been playing like a little bit more of a power forward role, which is a bit weird. DeJounte Murray as well is averaging about 15 points per game, 5 assists. He's definitely improved a lot this season. Keldon Johnson as well, who didn't really do much in the previous season. He's starting every game now, clocking in about 15 points per game. Patty Mills, who's coming off the bench, who will probably get traded because he has a lot of trade value, is averaging about 13 points per game. And Derek White as well, who's averaging about 10, again, in the limited minutes and games that he did actually play, obviously, before the injury. But again, even Devin Vassell, who they recently just got, looks like an absolute jet of a player. Right now, the San Antonio Spurs are in one of the coolest positions in the league, because they're in a position where they're going to continue to compete what looks to be every single year. I mean, they're the 6th seed, and whether or not they make the playoffs this year or not, looks like they are about to. They're still building a very, very good young core, and are going to have a lot of money to work with in free agency, especially if they do trade LaMarcus Aldridge away to a different team. Now, I believe Aldridge will get traded away to a different team, just based on the fact that teams are definitely going to take on extra money, like players like Aldridge, because Aldridge is an expiring deal. He's on about $28 million, I believe, but again, he's on that expiring, and he'll eventually, most likely, just go and sign with a team for probably less than $5 million a year. I mean, look, he's averaging 14 points per game, and you're probably saying, well, he's probably worth a bit more than $5 million per game. But next season, I could definitely see that dropping to maybe even 10 to 12, and he's going to get definitely a lot more limited minutes as he turns, he'll be turning to be that 36 to 37 years old type of age next season, and he'll be looking to sign with a veteran team or an experienced team that is competing, and of course his defense has definitely dropped off and will only get worse from here. So again, he's not going to be wanting much. Realistically, the Warriors shouldn't trade Kelly Oubre for him. I mean, I have been kind of critical of Kelly Oubre this year, because I actually really did rate Kelly Oubre. I thought he was a very good player, and I rated him quite heavily. But this season, he had a very, very slow start, but is finally starting to get back into it with his now. I believe he's shooting, I think it was like 45% in his last 5 games or something like that, at the time making this video, shooting that from 3, which is absolutely crazy. He's improved his 3-point percentage from like 13% to now, 29%. So again, that's improved quite a bit. And if he keeps shooting like this for the rest of the season, I could see it getting back up to like 35% or something like that from 3, which is a solid and realistic number. And again, he's just been amazing defensively recently. He's definitely picked up his defense. He can guard 1 through 4, and he's been one of the reasons that Golden State Warriors have been competing for the playoffs so far this year. So I wouldn't trade him unless I was going after a player like, Andre Drummond, or just a very solid center defensively. I wouldn't trade him for a player like LaMarcus Aldridge. Not just that, I don't think LaMarcus Aldridge really fits in that well with the Golden State Warriors. One thing they need right now definitely is a lot of defense at that center position. I mean, that's why, they brought in James Wiseman, is because they thought they were going to get a lot of defense at that center position, but we know he's had a pretty bad, rookie year. Like, a lot of people have been saying, hey, he's averaging 12.2 points per game in 21 minutes. That's a pretty solid start, right? Well, there's a reason why he's only playing 21 minutes, and that's because he's been absolutely rubbish defensively, and they've literally seen this and have decided to start Kevon Looney at times now over James Wiseman, just because Looney is still somehow a better defender than what James Wiseman is. And again, even Eric Pascal off the bench, who's only 198 centimeters, he's been playing a lot of small ball, center for them. I'm not too sure about Pascal, what's going to happen with him. If I was the Spurs, I would be trying to get Pascal out of this deal, because Pascal has only played 24 games this season. Again, that's his standard, but in those 24 games, he's only averaging around 17 minutes per game. And when you actually watch him, he's been very, very underrated. I mean, he has an instant scoring off the bench, and I feel like he's one of those guys that should be playing around 23 to 25 minutes per game, whether that's off the bench or starting as a power forward. And again, he can definitely come in and play a lot of that small ball type of center, which is crazy considering he is 198 centimeters, aka 6'5". So again, he deserves a lot better than 17 minutes per game. I don't know if I really would like to see the Warriors keep him, because I feel like there's a lot of flexibility with this Warriors team. I think next year will be a very interesting, kind of look for the Warriors, because the Warriors will get, hopefully, Klay Thompson back from that long-term injury. Notice that Andrew Wiggins, who's having a very underrated season, averaging 18 points per game, and has been very good defensively for the Golden State Warriors as well. There's a lot of moves and stuff that I think they need to do. What I would do if I was the Golden State Warriors, look, I wouldn't go and trade for Aldridge right now. I would probably just sign him in free agency for him to be like a 14-minute per night type of guy, because again, he's playing about 26 minutes per game right now, and if you can get him in and play like 14 to 20 minutes, that's what I would do if I was them. I think you got to keep the foundation of, got to keep Steph. I'd say keep Wiggins, Wiseman, obviously, Pascal, you got to keep. All 4 of them are very key players. Oubre, I'd like to see them keep, just based on the fact that he's still young, and I feel like he'll be going on a cheaper deal very soon. Jordan Poole deserves more opportunity next season. Draymond Green as well has been a very good player for a long time for them, very underrated this season as well. And again, you get Klay Thompson back. Draymond Green's already improved so much as a player again this season with Steph Curry back. He's averaging around 8 assists per game. If he gets Klay Thompson into the team, again, I could see Draymond Green as being exclusively a point forward next season and averaging around 10 assists per game. I feel like that's his new role, and that should always be his role from now on, because it's just what he specializes at this point. And again, he's had a very underrated season as well. So again, I wouldn't really go for Aldridge if I was them. I would probably keep my assets in, Kelly Oubre, etc. But again, the Spurs, they're in a great position, a very underrated position. They're competing for the playoffs right now with one of the most underrated cores in the league. They will have a lot of money in free agency next season. And again, they continue to draft very, very good. For them, I think they should. Look, I wouldn't mind if they kept DeMar, but considering his values at its highest has been in quite a while right now, if they traded DeMar, Aldridge, etc., and just tried to tank the rest of the season and finished up with a 12 seed, got a really nice pick and then brought in some very nice players in free agency, watch out, the Spurs could actually be a very good team again next season. But of course, I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Do you guys think the Golden State Warriors should go ahead and try and trade for LaMarcus Aldridge? Do you guys think they should just wait until free agency? Again, I definitely would like to know all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. But of course, don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRO/long channels. All of them will be in the description down below. And again, don't forget to check out my podcast as well if you haven't already. Links for them will all be in the description down below. But as I was saying, to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.